Now we are hearing from video service delivery. Nancy Berryhill from the Regional Commissioner of Social Security Administration in Denver, and Shane Kelly. Welcome.
Thank you. As you know, Social Security affects the lives of all of us. And at difficult times in our lives, when we lose a loved one or suddenly become disabled. As a measure of our service, we held an American Indian Alaska Native Conference in Denver, Colorado in the year 2000. It was really a listening session, and we met with tribal leaders throughout the nation. We know that the message was clear, that we were not providing quality service to Indian reservations. Now, we know that the challenges in the West are difficult. There's many. Severe weather, lack of transportation, lack of phone service, and lack of fiber for the internet. Some of our field offices are 200 and 300 miles apart, and face-to-face service is still the preferred method, as there still is a trust issue in Indian country today. So we began looking for a solution, not a brick and mortar solution, but a long-term, long-lasting solution. Thus, video service delivery was born. Video service delivery, as I like to call it, VSD, removed all of the barriers that I talked about. Video conferencing is a well-known technology today. SSA took that concept and by building strong relationships in the community, turned VSD into a thriving new service delivery channel. Service is no longer an occasional phone call or visit. It is now virtual service, anywhere, anytime, and any place. Service is now on demand. The value added is amazing. An example is the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, where the claims have increased by 300% and continue to grow. Now, we all know the Pine Ridge Reservation. We know the story of Wounded Knee that is embedded in our hearts and our minds and our souls still today, where the average life expectancy is 48 years old for a male and 52 years old for a female, where the infant mortality rate is 300% higher than the national average, and the unemployment rates are as high as 90% in parts of our reservation. Prior to VSD, we took a handful of claims throughout a year, but now over 1,000 applications for benefits have been completed on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. Imagine the economic impact of those 1,000 applications on a reservation that is located in one of the poorest communities in this country, and where the average annual income is $3,700. Sure, this project is about leveraging technology, but really, it's about finding ways to serve the poorest and most neediest population in this country. It's about finding great ways to deliver service to all Americans. Now, from our initial model of serving American Indian reservations, we've expanded. We continue to grow. VSD has been expanded to 44 sites in the Denver region, and we have improved for a national rollout with our 2 newest sites, American Samoa and rural parts of Alaska. It is now being used to serve wounded warriors at the VA hospital in Fargo, North Dakota. And believe it or not, we are conducting medical exams to reduce our processing time and disability backlogs. We are exploring the option currently to add VSD to our foreign service posts, which are worldwide, in places like London and Dublin. What started to be a small pilot to serve rural America has grown beyond my wildest dreams. I believe the possibilities are unlimited. This project has and will continue to radically change the way Social Security delivers service now and into the future. I believe other agencies will use this model as public service. It is clear VSD saves time and saves money. But most of all, it is about providing superior service in areas where it did not exist. VSD is not another broken promise. It is about government being efficient and finding creative ways to serve the public. Thank you very much, and we'll take any questions.
Thank you, Maria.
I'm sorry that I can't refer to the specific study, but there was a point in time in which the denial of benefits under Social Security was sort of more the rule, not the exception, as a way of reducing costs and sort of that we can save that discussion. So my question is the use of the video technology having a cultural change in the agency in terms of serving, sort of having a premise that the person may be eligible versus not eligible? Or how does the video technology impact the culture of the agency as it tries to review applications, some of which will not be valid or appropriate?
You know, it's interesting because when we first put in our first video unit, it was a risk. Because again, as I mentioned, the preferred method of interacting with government for a lot of good reasons is face-to-face. So we were concerned that using a video technology would not allow that preferred method. But I tell you today, from all of our sites, the feedback is positive. We actually do observations when someone files for a disability claim. And we can do those observations as well in person as well as over a video channel. The technology is so clear today. There's not the delay it was 5 years ago when you moved your hand and you saw 25 hands go across the screen. That's not it today at all. It truly is that quick, and we are able to make those observations. And in fact, as I mentioned, we're able to conduct medical examinations for mental status through this video channel. And we've asked the doctors, we have asked the claimants, we have asked our managers and our employees. And truly, there's no difference.
Ellen.
Let me try to follow up, because I think Maria was getting at something else. When you sit here and you listen to the child welfare applicants, what you notice in general is this shift to a strength-based focus in working with families. And I think what Maria was asking has to do with the SSA's history or track record of denying significant numbers of applications. Is the denial rate or the acceptance rate any different through VSD?
Yes, the approvals of claims have increased, primarily because we were unable to obtain medical records.
And so then the question would be, if there's a shift in approval rate, does that augur any difference in the culture of the Social Security Administration in terms of its inclination to approve versus disapprove?
Again, I think it's having the availability to view a member of the public. It's able to get, through our leveraging of third parties, we are now able to obtain those medical records that are right there at the Indian Health Service Hospital, that sometimes they just were not available. But now they're pulling those records, they're providing those to the decision makers, and we're able to make those approvals. Many times it really is the lack of medical evidence that's not readily available. And it would take weeks and months for a medical exam if someone did not have a doctor. That is not the case today. We're able to do that through a video channel.
Because you bring a doctor into your office.
They actually can stay in their own office. We can connect through that video channel rather than driving.
3 people?
I'm sorry?
Oh, a doctor, you put a video camera in a doctor's office.
Or a clinic, and we connect to a local community at another particular clinic that we are connected with. And they can certainly stay in their home communities. No one has to drive the 200 and 300 miles that they had to drive previously.
So if I'm in Pine Ridge, would you connect me to a doctor in Fargo, or would you connect me to a doctor in Denver?
Depending on the specialty.
No kidding.
Yes.
And you'd find the specialty like the community health center or something like that, or whatever?
We have not, certainly, again, it's about developing these partnerships. It doesn't happen without spending the time and studying it. We've worked with the University of North Dakota. We've worked with the Rural Institute in Montana to get the feedback of what it takes to make this process work and work well.
Yeah. So it's actually interesting because what you're describing is a much broader development of relationships than I would have gotten from just reading the application. It's really, really quite wonderful. The person who visited you loved you, just so you know. I have to
Well,
tell you.
I have to say,
It was full of passion.
I have to say, any visit to Pine Ridge is still today so emotional and
Yeah.
so telling.
Yeah.
When you look at the geography, you know, bordering on the Badlands, and you look at the families that live in trailers that have no windows and no heat, and think about that in the winter in South Dakota. It's
Well,
amazing.
it's unconscionable. It's really the answer. But what you've done is really stunning, and thank you so much for presenting it and being so passionate about it. Thank you.
Thank you.